Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. An American Carnage, issue number 4. Let me show you the cover while still holding onto the page. It has all the stuff on it, and of course I just lost it, because of course I did. Okay, so let's get started on this comic book. Who made it? Brian Edward Hill is the writer. Leandro Fernandez does the art. Dean White does the colors. The letters are Pat Brousseau. The cover is Ben Oliver. And yeah, this issue is called Animals. And yeah, it seems like that. The Obama mask guy comes back. I just want to say really quick on that. I'm thinking that it's rock salt. That's my opinion. I mean, it doesn't look like a beanbag. It looks like there's actually, pain and smoke coming from his shirt. Yeah. Like, I guess it could be birdshot, but that would probably still jack him up in a major way. That close might actually kill him. But no, I'm thinking rock salt. That's what I'm thinking. Anyhow, Jennifer is being questioned by a police officer, a detective, about why there was a cross burning on her home and somebody popped some handgun shots in through that window. She gives off whatever. It's funny, she's not very good in a confrontation with the police. I get the idea these are people who can actually prosecute you, but rather than just being a bit evasive, she's very confrontational with him in certain parts where she feels safe being confrontational with him. The officer says to him at one point, because it seems like he's trying to make the case, and cops will often try to, their tactics are to try and make you feel a little bit comfortable sometimes. If they don't have much on you, but they have a suspicion, they're going to try and rule it out by, talking sweet on you and seeing what's up. Particularly if you have a lot of money. If they feel that you're a low-income individual, they're going to beat you with everything because they know you can't afford a proper lawyer to actually get you out of trouble. So anyway, this guy's talking nice to her and saying, like, you're white, right? She's like, yeah, I'm Jewish I'm German and Irish. Yes, I'm white. He's like, all right, just making sure. Like, it's just weird that they would burn a cross there. Maybe you're associating with somebody like that. I mean, like, that's just really weird. Burning a cross, and I don't know. I mean, your father's community center thing, he runs that, right? Yeah. But I've done a little bit of investigating, giving the idea that maybe he knows something more than she thinks he does. He doesn't. He's like, I've noticed that all of your clients are white. I was like, are they? That's weird. Well, we serve everybody because they come and go and whatnot. But at the same time, even if that were the case, would that be illegal? Here we go. You just, wow. I don't want to give like 101 on how to hide yourself from being a racist, but it's like the difference between the outside voice and the inside voice. It was one of those kind of things where it's like, people call each other names sometimes when they're angry. You know what I'm saying? And they know which one is actually going to stick because that's the one that you react to. If I call you dumb and stupid and whatever I'm going to call you, silly. I was going to say silly because like they just call you all these things, and all of a sudden somebody calls you a beggar. Oh, if all of a sudden you're like, I was on food stamps when I was a kid, and I swore I would never do that. I can't believe you called me a beggar. What? Who are you calling a beggar? Well, you didn't react to any of the other things that you said, but you're reacting to this. Now I know how to dig in. And now this officer knows how to dig into her. Gotcha. It's a fun game. and you really have to see it, unfortunately, as a game sometimes with an officer because remember, for the most part, they are just trying to do their jobs, especially if they're talking to you and not threatening you. They're trying to do their jobs, which is a good thing because they can get away with not doing their jobs. We've seen that. They've gotten court orders saying as much. But they actually, by them trying to do this, by this officer doing that and Jennifer answering the way she does, gotcha, bud. So, you are a racist. Okay, let's see what else we can get from here. Meanwhile, this is gonna, oh jeez. This is gonna seem a little bit silly, but Richard goes and tells a story to Amy, I think her name is, the little girl, the deaf girl. And he's telling her a story that later on he winds up using a bit of that story against the Obama mask guy. I thought it was kind of silly, but at the same time, it was. I think that we were going for heartwarming. It didn't quite reach that level, but I could see where they were going, and it was good enough. I don't want to talk too much on that because it's really crucial to the story, and I do want you to actually read the comic book. I want you to actually buy the comic book and check that out. It was interesting, and I hope that we revisit this story again later, or at least the lesson that Richard tried to utilize, but rather corrects it a little more. Maybe Amy will. I'm almost positive Amy's going to have something to do with this. This is like Chekhov's gun, Chekhov's rifle, I think the term is. Go look that up if you're not familiar with it. Unless I completely butchered that, in which case you're going to be saying, I looked it up and Professor, I don't know what you're talking about. Anything that you put into a script, use it. If you don't use it, get rid of it. So, at one point, Jennifer's dad goes in to talk to this guy, Sheldon. Now, or was it Cooper? I'm thinking Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory, right? Whatever, Cooper. I think Cooper was definitely his name. I don't remember if Sheldon was. This guy, though, he pretty much all but admits that he was responsible for the cross and the shooting and all that stuff. Not him directly, but, his guys. Because these are the guys that Jennifer's father uses in order to propagate his message of hate, to more importantly enforce his message of hate. So it's funny, like, these little guys, his base, so to speak, they are the rabble, and they don't like being treated as much. They know that they're broken down. They know that they're miserable. They know that they don't have anything. They want to get back at the people who they believe are responsible for that. Not the people who are actually responsible for that, because that would definitely be Jenny's dad. People like him, the rich. That's where all the problems are coming from. But it's too hard to punch up, so we punch down, right? This book was sick. There's so much in here. I wanted to read something, and this makes me sad, but it is what it is. This is yesterday now, I saw this tweet, and I saved it since. Brian Hill says, and to the folks mad at me for creating American Carnage, I just want to tell you that, as a writer, I'm not throwing shots at you. I need to push myself to know myself. It makes my superhero work better. Confrontational work makes my escapism better. Sometimes. I just have to get dirty. I added the just in there. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sad that there's so many people taking offense to this. Has anybody ever watched American History X and been offended? Did they feel like they were, making this movie about them somehow? I'm curious at that. I genuinely am. Racism exists. If you're a part of it, don't be. If you're not a part of it, why are you offended? We just kind of went over this with the detective and Jennifer, right? It's like revealing your hand. It's funny, I feel that the military is almost a solution to a lot of this. When push comes to shove, the military is a building block because it's an experimentation block. While black people won't have civil rights back during the times of the civil rights movements, and prior to that, black people are still drafted into the military, or they sign up willingly, whatever, and serve with a bunch of whites. And yes, there's discrimination in there. A lot of that discrimination, however, is going to come from the other soldiers. But then you actually share some dirt with these people. These people, oh my God, I'm a racist now because I said that. You're fighting with this band of brothers, so to speak, and you, oh Jesus, that could sound racist too. Oh God, I hate living in this century. I hate living in this time period where everybody's offended by everything, on both sides. It's on both sides. It's disgusting, but you know, I didn't have to experience this when I was in the military, when I served, because it was already past that. Rather, and I was just talking about this with some people online. Rather, I had to go in with the experiment of having gays in the military. Gays have served in the military for a long time. And I went in right when Don't Ask, Don't Tell started. So when I was in, a lot of people, myself included, were suspicious that maybe some people were gay. I was not particularly pleased with that idea. The people who I spoke with, at least, didn't particularly like that either. Basically, we were very much against it. It's like, you want me to share a bunk with this guy, you want, this, that, and like he's going to be looking at me and stuff like that. Ever since then, I've often made the joke that God put gay people on the earth, gay men on earth, to teach men what it's like when they treat women, the way that they think gay men are treating them or looking at them. You know what I'm saying? Just my particular imagination of that. But in reality, no, it's just this is just people. That's it. And I served during a very wonderful time in human history, 93 to 99, where we actually didn't have any wars, where we would be deployed overseas, absolutely, but not for war. We'd be assigned to duty stations overseas, I should say, but we weren't deployed into war. That didn't happen. So I was very fortunate to not have the burden of having to actually go to war and shoot people and be shot at like that. Live fire exercises like you would not believe. Yes, I actually have some hearing loss because of some of these live fire exercises. It is what it is. But yeah, it's a weird thing when you go in and you actually get into arguments with people, shoving contests with people because you think they might be gay. But you're around it for so long that sometimes you actually meet people who actually are gay. And then you realize it doesn't really concern you. It's none of your business. It doesn't matter. Who cares? And I imagine that's a lot like, and I have talked with a lot of soldiers, black and white, from as far back as World War II, who'll say the same thing about when black people entered into the military. It just became one of those things where it's like, yeah, they're all right. They're not bothering anybody. You're saying these things, don't say those things about them. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're making this suggestion that these people do these kinds of things. That's not true. I feel like, yes, there are, of course, bad things in the military, but there's some good that comes out of it, too. There's a lot of good that comes out of the military. One of them is that you start to not be so worried about what other people are doing with their lives, what they look like, what they worship, who they want to have sex with, who they're attracted to. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a deal. I've had gay people attracted to me before. The feeling was simply not mutual. And I didn't feel harassed. I didn't feel stalked, mostly because I wasn't being harassed or stalked. It was just the idea of, you're a good-looking guy. I'm telling you, if you were on our team, you'd be, like, I think it's good to know I have options. It's a joke from the Friends TV show. It's always good to know you got options, but and today I think the big problem is actually the trans community, because unfortunately there's this big thing, we can't have trans people joining the military, trans military members. It's yeah. If they do join and it becomes a big thing, and I know that there's a lot of trans people already in, but if, the more that we're exposed to it, the more we realize it's not something to be afraid of. It's not something to hate. It's a shame that religion most of the time does the exact opposite that we think it should, if you're offended because you think that I'm attacking your religion, you really have to double down and check yourself. There comes a time we just have to stop, meditate, just purge all that excess from us, the stuff that just doesn't belong, the stuff that's not helping us, that's in fact actually hurting us. The detoxing isn't a real thing, but mentally it could be. I remember last year somebody gave me an argument. All the money it's going to cost the taxpayers for their surgeries and blah, 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 blah. Even if we did cover that in the military, do you know that most of the money for drugs in the military goes towards Viagra? I want you to stop and really think about that, because I imagine every single service member, past and present, is looking at me right now, if they didn't know that, going, really? Why? Not pain medicines, not morphine and things like that. No. Viagra pills. I joined the military when I was 17. 18 to 22, 23, I think it is the average age to join the military. Sometimes older, in my case, younger, you know what I'm saying? But how many young men actually need this Viagra? Because not to brag or anything, but so it was always good. It was always good. So you ask Navy guys, all the seamen when they get shore leave and whatnot, did they ever need that? I'm just saying. So that's a weird thing, right? Why is it that the bulk of our military would not, the serious bulk of our military would not need the most sold drug? It's because there's just waste. There's excess waste and deals with companies and big pharma and whatever, and it's disturbing, right? So, but that's something that if you weren't in the service, maybe some guys who even were in the service are not thinking about that, whatever, because they're older now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But the idea is that if you just stop and think about some of these things, your opinion might change. I think it's sad that anybody would get flack over writing something like this, especially with movies like American History X, and there are a lot of movies like that. But I just don't get it. I don't get what all the butthurtedness is over this. It's just a book. You don't like it, don't read it. Don't read it. Black people are targeted. As a part Native American, Native Americans are targeted more. Oh my God. I'm fighting for a bigger slice of that, hurt pie, right? No, it is what it is. It is what it is, proportionally. We're screwed over more because most people don't recognize that we even still exist. We're just history books for them, But it doesn't matter. I knew when I was a kid, not just because I grew up in what might be called a bad area, an area of, urban development or whatever the newscasters use, the news anchors use that terminology. No, because I used to listen to NWA. And I know Ice-T came first, but I listened to NWA before I listened to Ice-T. That was my gateway to Ice-T. And Public Enemy and all these people, they've been talking about this forever. Colin Kaepernick isn't new to me. It's not. I just don't see what the big freaking deal is. Why are we so, stand up, respect our military? Military doesn't bother me at all. In fact, bravo. I'm glad that dude got paid. I am genuinely glad that got paid. That guy got paid. According to, there's no official report from this, but people close to the situation, he got anywhere from $60 to $80 million. I'm sad he only got that much. He should have gotten more. He should have gotten way more. That guy was still giving to charities while he was unemployed, illegally unemployed. That's why he won. That's why the other guys wanted so badly to have a settlement and keep it private. You can argue what you think is right or wrong based on your beliefs, probably a religious belief. But what the hell do I know? Maybe it's just a really bad uncle in your family. But my point is, when you do something wrong, when you do something that's against the law, you get punished for it. Colin Kaepernick deserved every penny he got, and easily twice that, in my opinion. If you're hurt by that, if you're hurt by someone taking a knee, because I mean, for crying out loud, like this is all related. My whole social justice commentary here, all right? This is all related. Brian Hill is just writing a comic book. Of course he's going to be shouted down for writing a comic book. Jesus Christ, a world famous, freaking, well, American famous at least, football player doesn't write anything, doesn't say anything. He just shuts his damn mouth and puts one knee on the ground for one little magical song. You know what I'm saying? Your magical nationalistic song. And right away, you can't do that either. So what the hell can people do? What can people do then that's going to be okay with you? If this hurts you so bad, what the hell can they do? Just shut up and take it, right? No. Grew up in those neighborhoods. It's disgusting the way that cops treat people. And newsflash, when they're treating those people that way, oh my God, guess what's going to happen? They get more emboldened to treat other people that way too. When that happens to you, that's when all of a sudden, I can't believe that they're doing I can't believe that they would treat me with such indignity. It's an abomination. It's terrible. Yeah, I get it. Imagine if you had to deal with being stopped and frisked on the regular twice a month. How about just imagine if you could expect it once a year? That embarrassment, that humiliation publicly, and just, you can't do anything about it. You can't feel like your own person. Guilty until proven innocent, right? It's pitiful. It's downright pitiful. All the nonsense, all the constant nonsense. And at the end of the day, let's just face it. Let's just be realistic. Shut up and deal with it. Shut up and deal with it, right? Because if a guy can't even put his knee on the ground to protest that, I guess a guy sure as hell can't write a comic book just discussing it. It's not even being protested. It's just starting a conversation. Man, it's a strange world that we live in. And I'm disappointed. There's this band, John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. Most people don't know about this band. They've been around for a while. There was one album where Eric Clapton actually played on that back in the 60s. They're a very old band. And there was I guess it was like a 93, 94, whatever, something like that album. It's called Spinning Coin. Spinning Coin. Really good album. One of their better albums, in my opinion. There's a song on there. Can't remember what it's called exactly. It's probably exactly like how I'm going to say it, but I'm sorry to say, but I'm amazed at what passes for love. There we go. The song is named What Passes for Love. And I know the song is about relationships between guys and gals, but we need to learn how to love each other as human beings. It sounds softy and hippie, right? Yeah, sure. Go hug a tree. In the meantime, like, we do need to have that respect for each other's, because respect is earned, right? Why would you ever deserve anybody's respect if you can't respect everybody else? At least at the beginning. I mean, it's such a sad state of affairs that we're in. And it's not just in America that it exists here in Canada also, dude. It exists in Saudi Arabia. It exists every place I've ever been to. It exists there. And it's sad, but we got to get past that. Like I said, man, I'm waiting for the little green men to come and invade us. The invaders from Mars, because when that happens, I'm telling you, we're done. We're done. We don't have to worry about all that nonsense anymore. We'll all embrace each other. The 9/11 terror attacks, man. People going up and, talking to black people. Hey, how you doing? You all right? All right. It's, you be good. You be good. All right. I'll hope to see you again. Have a good day. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Where'd that come from? Oh, because we've got a common enemy. Yeah. weird thing, right? All of it's manufactured, dude. All of it. It's all just made. It's not real. It's not real. It's like looking at a table. All right? It's like looking at a table. You know that 60% of that table is just empty space. The problem is we can't see that. And we can feel the solid part. It's hard to feel something that's not there, right? So we just focus on the solid. Race, ethnicity, all that stuff, it's all the exact same thing. Actually, it's even better because like 98% of it isn't, we're the same. There's just that 2%. Man. What, if we were all blind, it would be better? I don't know. It's just, I'm rambling at this point, but I'm so shocked and amazed that people get offended at a comic book where they're just talking. It's just, this comic book isn't asking for anything. It's just saying, hey man, here's this conversation. And if you don't want to be a part of the conversation, you can excuse yourself from the conversation. It's not that big of a deal. But people just get so butthurt over this stuff. I don't understand it. Whatever, man. I guess I don't get paid enough to understand. But caring is free. Care Bears movie. You didn't see the Care Bears movie? That was a good movie. Shut up. Care Bears Stare. It was cool. Transformers the movie was on this week, but the next week I had to watch a movie that my sister wanted to watch. So I got forced to watch it. I don't want to hear it. I'm a man, regardless of what I watch. Anyway, I'm going to go and do some crocheting and fuzzy pink bunny slippers. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.